Hello, Gauri ma'am.
Hi, hello.
Yeah, so I think we are live now.
Yes. Fingers crossed for
Okay.
the internet to behave itself.
Yeah, yes, yes. Okay. So we have with us a therapist, life coach, facilitator, and a very vibrant human, Miss Gauri Rao Kavi. She is an associate fellow and training faculty level 2 with the Albert Ellis Institute, New York. She is the founder of Self Align, an affiliated training center of Albert Ellis Institute. She has independently organized and trained students in the field of psychology, leaving a long-term impact on teachers and learners. I hope you all enjoy this conversation. I, Vatsala Sharma, on behalf of the entire team of Manathon, welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'm absolutely honored and privileged to be here. Thank you.
So, good evening, ma'am. We are quite grateful and pleased to have you tonight with us as a part of Team Manathon. So, how are you feeling being a part of this 24-hour mental health drill, Gauri ma'am?
Oh my God, I think it's one of the first. I think it's the first of its kind in our country, if I'm not mistaken. At least I haven't heard of something like this. So it feels absolutely wonderful to be a part of it. Thank you so much for
That's
having me.
we are pleased, ma'am. So, ma'am, now when we speak about emotions, so can you tell all of us and all our enthusiastic listeners about what are positive and negative emotions?
Positive and negative emotions. Okay. So, well, we know what emotions are. Emotions are basically physical states that arise as a response to an external stimuli. And they can be observed through physical reaction, and they are aroused before feelings. Emotions, yes, they are positive and negative. Positive, obviously, are emotions that, when we react to something that we like, and negative emotions are emotions that we react to when something hasn't gone our way, something is not found to be pleasant by us. Positive emotions, obviously, we have no problem dealing with. We are absolutely happy having them all the time. But it's the negative emotions that really disturb us. However,
Yeah.
um, we can't always feel positive emotions, always, can we, Vatsala?
Mom, I doubt. No, I personally cannot.
Right? Yeah, unless you're
Yeah.
a Tibetan monk or a yogi somewhere sitting in the mountains and meditating. We are mere
Yeah.
mortals, right? So for mere
Yeah.
mortals like us, we can't just have positive emotions. We have to have a mixture. We are actually, as humans, negative. So for today, let's focus on the negative because those are the ones that really cause problems for us. So I was
Yeah.
just thinking, and please let me know what you think. How about we focus on three of the most common negative emotions that we normally face, caused, and how we can change them. So I was thinking of perhaps anger and anxiety. Anxiety is something that everybody is feeling today because thanks to COVID. And also is quite a major emotion that, especially we feel, especially in our society. So, would you like to talk about these three?
Mom, I would be glad that you are taking all the three, which are quite, contradictory and quite ongoing with all of us. I believe, yes. I mostly hear
Okay,
people
great.
talking about these three a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's do it this way. Why don't you share with me an experience that maybe you have had or one of your close friends, somebody, some recent experience where somebody has shared with you or you have felt a lot of anger. So
Anger. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, ma'am, if we talk about anger, recently I had a conversation with a friend of mine. He's a corporate sector friend. So
Mm-hmm.
he shared with me the incidents where his boss, he was
Mm.
yelling at him, and in front of the entire office, he like, he just bashed on him, and it made him so humiliated and so angry. And that was something which I could see in his eyes. He's a very calm person, but I usually don't see him that angry. But when I talk about anger, this is the latest thing that I can think about to narrate.
It's funny you should mention that, Vatsala, because I've worked in the corporate sector for a very long time, and this is, believe me, a very, very common scenario. Okay,
Yeah.
so so going back to this friend of yours, when he was getting, when he was sharing this experience with you, and when he was generally venting out steam, what was he saying?
Ma'am, can you repeat? I think you got lost in the middle.
I
What?
said, I said, I said that when he was sharing and when he was venting out all this, you, what were you hearing him say? What were the things that he was like constantly saying or repeating or anything that's kind of.
No. Ma'am, the things that I vaguely remember him repeating again and again, that how could my
Mm-hmm,
boss do this to me? Why is he shouting at me in front of everyone? He should not do this with the people
hmm,
who are loyal and who are dedicated in the office. Why is he
mm-hmm,
doing it? He should have called me in the office and told me personally.
right,
He must not do this
right,
to what impact will it give on juniors if he can, like a person, he
right,
had some, I don't know his position, but he was quite on a good position, so he was like he must not do that with the employees. So
right.
that was.
So what I'm hearing you saying, Vatsala, is that there were a lot of shoulds and musts in what he was sharing with you. That my boss
Yes, ma'am,
should not have,
absolutely.
so my boss should not have
Yeah.
spoken with me like this, and he should not have fired me in front of everybody, and he should not have, behaved with me in a certain manner, considering I'm such a loyal and dedicated employee, etc., etc. So a lot of shoulds and musts, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
so so these shoulds and musts are actually, how should I put it? They are they are internal conditions that we have in our own little minds, and which are very rigid. And we are full of these musts and shoulds and has to happen this way and should not happen this way, etc. And
Yeah, and I
these
believe.
are.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but these are the things which every angry person says. Like not just him. Now
Yes,
I can think of
absolutely,
people getting angry and saying these things.
absolutely, bang on. So what happens is, we have this little rule book. All of us have our own little rule book in our mind, and we have these rules. Okay, they, people shouldn't treat me this way. People shouldn't talk to me this way. People should treat me fairly. This should, that should, this must happen the way I want to happen. This shouldn't happen the way I don't want it to happen. So a whole lot of these rules, a whole lot of these conditions, and we are very rigid about them. However, we can't control people.
Yeah.
People don't fulfill these conditions for us. And when these
Hmm.
conditions don't get fulfilled for us, then we get angry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, we do.
Because these are all our own conditions, in our own rule book. We People don't know about it, and people have their own rule books, and in any case we can't really control the way people behave or the people think or people act or whatever. And then when they
Yeah.
don't act or when they don't
We look
behave the
through
way
that
we.
little loophole that we made.
Correct. So when they don't comply with these little very rigid conditions that we have for them, that is when we get angry. So now
Yes,
my
ma'am.
question to you is, so this just shows us how this anger is created. It is created by us. If I wanted to change this anger, what do you think I would need to think differently in order not to be angry?
Ma'am, I think we should. There's no should. Okay, I'm afraid to use the word should now. We can try like wishing there's better things, like something which
Mm-hmm.
he like being more accepting and
Mm-hmm.
being more calm in the
Excellent. Yeah.
situation,
Yeah.
and like trying to be a little
So
more.
calm is a behavior. Yeah. Yeah. So calm
Yeah.
is a behavior, right? What I'm asking is, what do we need to do? So see, we know that what is causing the anger. Anger is caused by these rules, these conditions that we have. Okay? And when these rules
Mm-hmm.
are not complied with, when people don't fulfill these rules, then we get angry. So if we didn't want to get angry, it makes sense to change this rule, to change this way of thinking a little bit.
Yes,
You think that would make
yes. We
sense?
can. Yes,
Yeah?
that really
Okay.
makes sense. Yeah.
So instead of saying that my boss should not have done this, he should not have behaved this way, he should not have got angry with me, blah, 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 blah. Instead of saying that, if he were to say something like, I wish that my boss didn't behave this way, I wish he was sensitive towards my feelings, but just because I
Yeah.
wish for it to happen, therefore, it doesn't mean it must happen.
Yeah. Wishing doesn't make it an obvious
Exactly.
thing to be.
Exactly. Because I'm not a dictator. I'm not Hitler, right? So
Yeah.
I can't go around demanding things from people. I can only expect, I can only wish, I can only desire. But does all my wishes and all my desires come true?
Mm, no.
No. So
As you said in the
similarly, if
beginning that we are all mortals. So yeah, it's endless and it
absolutely,
cannot end.
absolutely, absolutely, right? So instead of saying something like that, if I just change that thought process, that I really wish he was, and I really wish he didn't do this or he wouldn't behave this way, but just switch it doesn't mean it has to happen. Then, like
Yes.
you said, I am more accepting of reality, because that is the reality. No
Hmm.
matter how much I may wish, he will still continue to behave the way he wants to behave.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So that is
Yeah,
how.
ma'am.
So when I say be angry, you said no, because I'll be more accepting. So if not anger, what emotion then do you think I would feel if you were to what
Ma'am,
feel
you're
emotions?
lagging. You're lagging. Can you repeat that line for me?
Okay, so I said that if you, yeah, so I said that if you were to be in his shoes and if you changed your thought, you were a little more flexible and you changed your emotion would you feel when you said that it's not necessary, it's not absolutely necessary that what I wish has to happen?
Yeah. I would feel a little more, accepting and moving ahead. I would like to kill that thought of being angry and somebody ruling my, anger.
Right, right. So probably you see, now you're still not happy with what he's done. So you would be bugged and irritated
Yeah.
and annoyed, right? Because you're not
Yeah.
happy
I'll be a little
about being
frustrated.
fired.
Yeah, I'll be
No,
frustrated, if not angry, a little grumpy,
right, right,
little frustrated.
right. Exactly. So you would still be annoyed and irritated, but you wouldn't be angry, right?
Yeah.
So in negative emotions also, we have slightly good negative emotions and ones that make us dysfunctional and which are not very good for us. So anger
Hmm.
makes us dysfunctional. It's not a very healthy negative emotion to have. Whereas annoyance or being irritated is a slightly better negative emotion to have, because I can't feel positive. He's humiliating
Yeah,
me in
it
front of the
consumes a
whole
little less.
office, right?
Yeah, it consumes a little less of us.
Correct.
Anger might,
Absolutely.
consume all of it.
Very well put. Very well put. I mean, I can't be happy about the fact that I've been shouted at in front of the whole office, but I don't really need to also angry, right? So
Yeah.
annoyance is a slightly better negative emotion to have, because you can't replace it with a positive emotion for sure. So let's go on to the next negative emotion that I spoke of, and which was anxiety. So any
Yeah.
experience that you'd like to share recently where perhaps you felt anxious or knew somebody who felt?
Ma'am, when I talk of anxiety, COVID-19 has put up
Mm-hmm.
anxiety in a little bottle for me, and I have to consume it sip by sip every day. Like it's like anxiety is
Right,
a daily dose for me.
right,
So if
right,
I talk
right.
about anxiety about my education, anxiety about how it has become, there's a halt and there's a frozenness in the education system.
Correct,
Suddenly.
correct,
So
correct,
you cannot
correct.
like just apply
So,
for if I aspire to be in an international university, I cannot even think there because I cannot even go to my local university.
I understand.
So
I
that
understand.
makes me
So,
really
so,
very
so
anxious.
when, so when you are getting anxious and when you're ruminating about, on these thoughts, what are you actually saying in your mind about the situation? What are you saying
Ma'am,
to,
okay,
yeah.
that's like okay. In spite of the fact that everyone is watching me, but I'll still be open and true. I question myself. There's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of
Correct.
fear of,
Right.
FOMO, fear of missing out, fear of
Right.
missing out what's coming
Right.
next,
Right. Right. Right.
self-questioning, doubting.
Right. Right. So when you say that you have a lot of doubt, are you somewhere saying, I can't handle this, and you're doubting your ability also to handle it? Are you saying that
Yes,
I
ma'am. I
can't,
can
I
think,
really can't, I can't stand this, I can't take this, I don't think, I don't know how long I can
yeah, I
handle
question.
this? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it
And
comes to a point like the ice breaks. There's ice
right,
breaking point,
right,
which says
absolutely.
now I
So
cannot just do it.
correct. I can't handle it. And when you say that I can't handle it, not only are you, saying that you can't handle it, but you actually are doubting your own ability to handle that situation. Right? And when you doubt your own ability to
Yeah,
handle a situation, where is your confidence? How are you preparing yourself? How are you empowering yourself to handle it? Right? You're not. You're just completely depleting yourself of
yeah,
all that confidence you have and saying that I can't handle this situation, right? I can't take this. Now,
yeah.
supposing,
That ruins the entire
right,
day.
correct, correct. So, supposing instead, Vatsala, you were to say that, you know what, this is definitely a very frustrating situation, and there is a lot of uncertainty about this entire pandemic and when it's going to end and when will I be able to, apply and, go on with my business vis-a-vis my education, etc. However, no matter how frustrating it may be, you know what?
Hmm.
It. It's not such a big deal. It is a bit of a hassle. It is very uncomfortable, discomforting. Definitely, it's not very comfortable, but I'm sure I can handle it. It's not that big a deal. Now, when you say something like this to yourself, do you feel perhaps a little concerned but not anxious?
Yeah, a little overwhelming. Like it makes me cry, it makes me, feel the emotion to the best, but not anxious.
Not
If I try and do
anxious.
that, what you're saying,
Yeah.
if I apply
So,
what you're saying, yeah, so that might.
so, so concern is the healthier of the two emotions. If you compare anxiety and concern
Yeah,
actually can work for you. So some of these negative emotions, they've just been labeled bad by all of us. They're not all of them, they're not all villains, right? Concern is
yeah,
actually helpful for you because let's take this COVID situation. If you were not concerned about this particular virus and contracting the virus, you would go about your business as you were doing earlier. You would not
Yes, yes,
practice social distance, you wouldn't wear a mask, etc. But you're doing all of this out of concern. So concern is actually helping you stay safe.
yes,
However,
yes, it is indeed.
anxiety, right? Anxiety gets you all worked up and gets you all panicky, right? So
Yeah,
similarly in
it
your
does. It surely
situation,
does.
yeah, so in your situation also, if you were to say that yes, this situation is a bit difficult, but I'm sure I can deal with it, it then empowers you. It gives you that little confidence, that little boost, that hey, it's not all that bad and everybody else is dealing with it and I'm sure I can too. It's not that big a deal, right? It gives you that
Yeah,
confidence to
yeah,
then deal with it while still keeping you concerned about your situation vis-a-vis your education.
yeah.
Get that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay,
Ma'am, I am
great, great.
afraid and I'm really concerned that we only have 8 minutes. So if we
I
can,
know, I know. So let's quickly just go
little
to,
time.
yeah, so let's quickly go to guilt. Okay, and quickly
Yeah.
tell me an experience where either you have felt guilty or somebody you know has felt guilty and shared that with you very fast.
Ma'am, there was if I was thinking in the back of my mind that there's a neighbor. So she her child is really very naughty, like he's a notorious kid. So once she just, slapped him and she abused, like it's physical abuse, she thought, as she said after she when she was explaining it to me. So she was
Right.
feeling really guilty after, beating him. So she was saying like that I'm not a good mother. How can I be this person? And there were all the things involved while she was narrating it to me. So I think that's the perfect thing I can recall right in the moment when you talk about guilt.
Right. So when she was feeling guilty, was she saying things like, perhaps because, and the reason I'm, hypothesizing this is because I get a lot of clients, and basically in our society, mothers tend to always have this guilt around them. So did she say things like, I'm probably a bad mother, and how can I do this to my kid, and I'm not good, and he doesn't deserve me, somebody like me, and I'm just
Yeah,
not good as a
yes,
mother.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
sounds very
absolutely.
familiar
Like,
to me. Sounds very, very
yeah, yeah,
familiar, right?
very much,
So
yeah.
when she's saying that I'm not a good mother, and then saying that because I'm not a good mother, I'm probably not good enough as a human being either, right? And then when you say that I'm not good enough as a human being, as a mother or whatever, that's when you feel guilty,
Yeah,
right? Right?
exactly.
So again, once again, if we needed to change this guilt into another emotion which was a little better, like say for instance regret, that I regret
Yeah,
having slapped my
sad,
child.
feeling bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
feeling
regret. I
regretful about
regret.
it. Yes.
Yeah, I regret having slapped my
Yeah,
child. But lesson
yeah,
learned, lesson learned. It wasn't a good thing for me to do. I realized that. And going forward, I will try not to, I will not repeat that mistake again. Right? So
yeah.
in this sense, regret is a better emotion. It's a healthier emotion than guilt, because in guilt, you are beating yourself up. You're constantly
Hmm.
beating yourself up, you're criticizing yourself all the time, whereas in regret you're admitting and accepting that you've done something that you should not have done, perhaps,
Yes.
and you have learned from that experience and probably won't do that again. But to do
Yeah,
that,
as a
what do you
student
need
of
to say?
psychology,
What Yeah, but to
yeah,
do that, what do
to
you
guilt,
need to change? What thought process do you need to change? What do you need to say to yourself differently rather than saying that I'm not good enough? What can you say instead?
that I can be better and I won't repeat it, like something like that. Yeah. Like
So
feeling bad
maybe,
about it, but not downing yourself for it.
correct,
Because
correct. So
I,
how about saying something like yeah. So how about saying something like, you know, uh, well, I accept that what I did was not a very nice thing, and that was not a very good behavior on my part, but just because I indulged in that behavior does not make me not good as a
Yeah.
mother
Yeah.
and therefore not good as a
Yeah.
human being. This is just one behavior.
Correct. Yes.
It does not impact me as a human being. It
Begins
does
with
not,
the emotion.
correct. So it doesn't impact me as a human being. It's just something that I did, and I agree that it wasn't a nice thing to do, but that doesn't impact me. So it doesn't mean that I'm not good enough, right? And
Yeah.
when you say that to yourself, you probably feel regret, which is a healthier alternative. And regret, again, over here, helps you because it helps you identify your mistake. It also helps you accept it and move on and try not to repeat it.
Yes. Yeah, I believe
Yeah?
these negative emotions what we talked about is also they're quite necessary as well if they are
Yes, some of them
refined.
are. Some of them are. Some of them actually work for us. They keep us grounded and they work for us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So ma'am,
so
it was
I think our time is almost up. uh,
yeah, it was like a quick
we
thing, like
did feel we did manage to finish and we did manage to wrap up in time despite all the
yeah,
time lag and the connectivity issues and all of that.
yeah, I'm so glad and happy ma'am for that. So those who
Yeah,
are
me
so those, so those
too,
who
me
are
too.
watching so those who are watching us can always contact Gauri ma'am through and know more about her through selfalign.in. And thank you so much, ma'am. It makes me feel overwhelmed that I got this
thank
chance to talk to you.
thank you so much. It was wonderful to meet you over here, Vatsala, and thank you for taking this time. And I thank the team of, I don't know how you're going to pronounce it, Manathan, however you pronounce this. In an Indian way, it is Manathan, otherwise, it's Manathan. But thank you, the entire team of Manathan, all you students who have really worked so hard to put all this together, and all the experts who've come and shared their valuable time to make this such a success. Thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you so much,
Eternally
ma'am. We are
grateful.
so grateful we are so grateful to speak with you, ma'am.
No, the pleasure is all mine.
I hope
Thank you
people are,
so much. Thank you so much.
people have learned just a little in these 30 minutes and changed for
I
better,
hope
something
so.
better.
I hope so. I hope so that the recording has gone smoothly. And the network hasn't been acting up. I just hope not.
Yeah. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you once again, darling. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. It was great being
Thank
here.
you. Good night.
Bye bye. Good night. Good night. And the best of luck for the closing ceremony as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, please try and be there. It'll be good
Yes,
for
of
all of
course.
us
I
if
will.
you
I
join.
definitely will. I definitely will.
Thank
Definitely
you.
will.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right. Bye bye.